mistletoe hanging, but the vibe ain't sweet. So I'm tangled up where I used to keep my seed. The red I'm seeing ain't from no candy cane. Ain't no holly, ain't no jolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead. Tree lights flicker, but my mind's on rewind. Every I love you now feels weaponized. Eggnog spike, but it ain't numb in the sting. Her best friend took my crown, now I'm the fool king. Sleigh bells ringing, but they sound like alarms. Frosty outside, inside it's a storm. No chestnuts roasting, just my patience shot. Love ain't a present, it's a house of cards. The red I'm seeing ain't from no candy cane. Ain't no holly, ain't no jolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead.
Yeah, we on. Pop a cork, set the scene. Gold glass, big dreams. Little hood, still pristine. Laugh lines where lipstick sheen. Secrets fizz when we sit down. High heels, low-key crown. Spill tea, still hold it down. Toast up, level up now. Champagne secrets, sip, save it, spill it. Grown and sexy, talk that talk, but we are when we feel it. Champagne and power, glow in the midnight hour. Little hood, whole lot of class, we gon' cry and laugh louder.
Slow pour, let it rise. Real talk, no disguise. Bad days, but we still thrive. Soft heart, hard-earned pride. I'm enough. Big bag, big piece too. Pray first, then make move. I'm blessed. Self-love in every view. Hit play, it's a new you. I'm chosen.
Champagne secret, sip, save it, spill it. Grown and sexy, talk that talk, but we are when we feel it. I'm healed. Champagne and power, glow in the midnight hour. Little hood, whole lot of class, we gon' cry and laugh louder. Picking down, new ride. Deep breath, slow sound, champagne. Secrets out now, I'm ready. Picking down, new ride. Perfecto, now champagne. Secrets out now, I'm ready.
Hey girl,
Hey girl,
what you doing?
nothing much.
Get dressed.
For why?
Because we're going to the city. I need a little sip, savor, and spiel.
Let's toast.
What you got going on tonight?
Can't call it. Owning the night. What you getting into?
Empress down in the city tonight. I'm feeling like champagne.
Let's toast.
The content you are about to indulge in may contain high levels of truth, sarcasm, and emotional damage. Viewer discretion is advised, but honestly, you clicked, so here we are.
Side effects of watching may include sudden clarity about your life choices, uncontrollable laughter at inappropriate moments, mild to severe eye rolling at ignorant comments in the chat, increased confidence, boldness, and I said what I said energy, or getting read like a hardcover novel with highlighted notes. Your bad take being turned into tonight's entertainment. A free personality evaluation you didn't ask for, but clearly needed, and temporary embarrassment followed by permanent self-reflection, optional. but recommended. Do not consume if you are allergic to accountability, growth, hearing the truth without sugarcoating. If symptoms of being triggered persist, log off, hydrate, and try again tomorrow. By continuing to watch, you agree that your feelings may or may not be spared, and that's between you and your Wi-Fi.
Management will not be issuing apologies, refunds, or emotional support for bruised ego.
We do not argue here. We educate, escalate, and occasionally decorate the situation with a little razzle-dazzle, respectfully.
Stay classy, stay sassy, and remember, if it don't apply, let it fly.
Either way, the glass stay full and the tea stay hot. You either handle it or get handled. Can you handle it? Let's toast.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Enough is enough! I have had it with these motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! These motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! These motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane! Everybody strap in! I'm about to open some fucking windows.
I know you see it. Baby, wealth flows to you. Champagne gang, fizz fam, confidants, and visitors to the Champagne City. Baby, come on in. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to, step to, step to. For y'all who know, y'all know I was getting moved into my new place. Took a week or two to get a little settled. Y'all know I'm moving to a whole new city, impromptu, had to get stuff from another city, was whole here in the city. God blessed me with a whole new job, didn't have no clothes, no nothing, but for, what was it, about 3, 4, 6 months or so, she was in here in the city wearing about the same 4 jogging pants over and over and over again, same t-shirts over and over and over again, washing out her underwear on her hands over and over and over again, because God had blessed her with an opportunity. So when God blesses you with an opportunity, you don't worry about stuff, because God gonna take care of the stuff. Hello. And oh, but did he? Because your girl got a place. She moved in. I'm excited. And now I'm ready to get back to y'all, because y'all president been cutting up. He been cutting up and he been playing in y'all face. And I just want to know, how long are y'all going to continue to let this man play in y'all face before y'all do something about it? Today, look, y'all know I usually give y'all the disclaimer that I don't have time for maggots today. Baby, I got time for all of it. Oh, yes, I do. I got time for all of it. So listen, come on, maggots, baby, because you can't argue with a lie. You can argue with a lie, but you can't argue with the truth, and you can't argue with receipts, baby. And we got receipts today, so I need y'all to scoot up. And after we had this conversation, I want y'all to tell me how y'all still feel about the U.S. and all the foolishness that we doing in our own country and overseas. Yeah, we gonna get into that. But first, y'all already know, before we get deep, we got to get into this positivity and affirmation. So please do me a favor. Grab your tings and things and scoot up. If this is your first time here, hi, I'm the Empress, and you are joining me for grown discussions and bubbly banter. Baby, over here we give classy with a twist, huh? A little clink with chaos with a side of charm. So if you're ready to sip, savor, and spill, get on in here, lift that glass in the air, make sure it's non-alcoholic, because baby Demetrius just told us he is graduating on next week. Somebody better throw some non-alcoholic champagne glasses in the chat for Demetrius. Throw them in there, throw some streamers. We got to celebrate on today. The way we be talking about the youth and talking about how we need to save the youth, baby, and we got somebody in our chat, a young man graduating high school. You better throw some streamers in the chat for Demetrius. Yes, baby, and may God bless you from this point forward with everything your heart should desire. May he enlarge your coast, enlarge your territory, and make all of your dreams come true. May you be a pillar, a guide, a support. Baby, may you be the whole system on the Navy ship that people are looking up to for encouragement, for enlightenment, and for direction. We here in the Champagne City wish you grace, peace, and success on everything that God has in store for you. Y'all, let's put some hand claps in the chat, because if that's not something to celebrate, baby, I don't know what is. Now, take those glasses, raise them in the air, because today we're talking about reset. Today, you get to begin again without dragging yesterday behind you. No guilt, no heaviness, no replaying old energy like it still owns today's atmosphere. Reset your mind, your focus, your spirit. Because one rough moment does not define you. One bad day does not cancel your progress. One delay does not mean you've lost your direction. Take a breath. This is your reminder that you are allowed to recalibrate without calling yourself a failure. Reset. Clear the noise. Clear the doubt. Clear the pressure to have everything figured out all at once. You do not need perfection today. You need presence. You need to come back to yourself. Reset. Let your energy settle. Let your thoughts organize themselves again. Let your confidence return without forcing it. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is pause long enough to realign instead of pushing yourself into burnout. So today, no carrying what should have been released. No punishing yourself for being human. No speaking to yourself like an enemy. You begin again gracefully. Now say it with me. I release yesterday, and I return to myself fully. I clear my mind, and I welcome clarity back in. I reset my energy, and I move forward with intention. I got it, and I do not need to rush my way back into alignment. And today, I reset, and everything about me starts flowing correctly again. Ooh, if you feel that deep down on the inside, let's toast. And you already know. You already know. If you came into my beautiful city with your heart set on hell and your intentions set on negativity, baby, in the Champagne City, we don't do no trolls. Troll busters on patrol?
Yeah. Whole squad on patrol. Where they at? Point them out that troll. Troll busters on patrol. Hey, hey, hey. Troll busters on patrol. Troll patrol. Clamp down, shut them out. Tow that troll. Click, clap, log them out. Fold that troll. Whole chair, chanting now, roast that troll. Roast that troll. Troll busters on patrol, troll patrol. Yeah, big boots, stomp stomp 'em out, roll that troll. Roll it. Cap lock, drag 'em out, scroll that troll. Crowd yell loud, we control these trolls. We control these trolls. You type to a little mole that troll. Live in my crib, little bowl cut troll. Grease on your keys, little old stain troll. Bridge so hot, screen cold from the troll. You a bridge bottom, did water troll. Wi-Fi weak, one bar in your soul. Profile pic, just an egg on a pole. Whole existence on whole set troll. Same fake pages, same lame troll. Catfish, but you can't say that troll. Talk big game, but you fold like a scroll. We just laugh, hit mute on the troll. Troll buzzers on patrol, troll patrol. Wait. Clamp down, shut 'em out, told that troll. Click, clack, log 'em off, fold that troll. Whole chat, chanting now, roast that troll. Roast that troll. Troll buzzers on patrol, troll patrol. Big boots, stomp 'em out, roll that troll. Cap lock, drag 'em out, scroll that troll. Crowd yell loud, we control these trolls. We control these trolls. You a damn rock, mouse grown troll. Lil' dust might all brand troll. Fry or hair, little egg roll troll. Keyboard chrome, snap pad troll. You a bad seat, no roll troll. Big talk, zero gold troll. DM tough in the street, so cold. See what's live in your spine, made a jello troll. You a trash bag, half ton troll. We a whole squad, but troll that's grow. On the fly swatter, you the mad ass troll. She the boot heel, flatten that troll. Go home, go home, troll. Whole room, yeah, log off troll. Log off, go home, troll. Whole room, yeah, go up troll. Troll busters is on patrol, troll patrol. Slam down, shut 'em out, told that troll. Click clack, log 'em off, fold that troll. Whole chat, chanting now, roast that troll. Roast that troll. Troll buzzers on patrol, troll patrol. Yo, big boots, stomp 'em out, roll that troll. Cap lock, drag 'em out, scroll that troll. Crowd yell loud, we control these trolls. We control these trolls.
Well, welcome back. Come on in. Come on in. Hold on, y'all. I think I might be too loud. Hold on. Had to turn some of that down so I ain't screaming at y'all. What's going on, Champagne Gang? Babies, come on in. Y'all, we got to get into it because a lot has been going on. We going to do a little recap because if y'all know, I told y'all to go look up a place called Astana. And if you haven't had the opportunity to go look up Astana, we are going to go do a recap before we get into this business tonight. Oh, baby, it's gonna line up, and we are not done. We are not done. So scoot on up. Make sure you have your charger. Make sure you're nice and comfy. Say hi to a few people in the chat, and all are welcome tonight, baby. Everybody grab a seat and scoot on up for a second because we need to talk. But before we get into that, y'all listen. I keep telling y'all, I really don't know how often we're going to keep letting these people play with us. I don't know why they want to keep playing in the plague jar and keep lying to us like, you know, this is normal. I really don't know why. But allegedly, according to reports, there was a flight that was diverted to Canada. It was supposed to be headed to Detroit. And the reason why is because a passenger on the board was from Congo. And they boarded in error amidst an Ebola outbreak. Now, I need you to make this make sense for me because you're trying to tell me I can barely get on a U.S. flight in the U.S. without being searched, prodded, probed, got to take off your shoes, your belt, damn near your bra, your teeth if you got some, piercings, wigs, and everything else to get on a plane after they search where you came from. And you telling me that while we got a whole pandemic breaking forth in Africa right now, a person, and I'm sure they had a passport, I'm sure. So I'm sure they knew where this individual was from. They allowed them to board a plane that was headed to Detroit. And y'all don't think this is all still a game? Y'all don't think they playing chess and we the pawns? Y'all, no, scoot on up. Don't get mad. I don't need you mad today. I need you with your thinking caps on. Yeah, I need you to put all that white and versus black bullshit aside tonight. Yeah, you need to put all that to the side. Yeah, ain't none of that tolerated right now because I need y'all to think. And you're not going to be able to think as long as you're focused on color. Like, we focused on color in kindergarten. I can't believe we're still in 2026 when majority, I'm a 76 baby. So when majority of us are old enough to be on to bigger and better things, we're still focused on colors in a box. Do it make sense to you when I say it out loud? Meanwhile, they playing in the plague jar and just throwing them around. Just, you get a plague, you get a plague, you get a plague. And we still focus on color. But let's continue. The passenger shouldn't have boarded the aircraft because of entry restrictions put in place to reduce the risk of the Ebola virus, a Customs and Border Protection spokesperson said. An Air France flight bound for Detroit was redirected to Canada after a passenger from Congo boarded in error, right? Amid the Ebola outbreak in Central Africa, officials said Wednesday. A U.S. Customs and Border Protection spokesperson said the agency took decisive action by prohibiting the flight from landing at Detroit Metropolitan Wayne County Airport. Due to entry restrictions put in place to reduce the risk of the Ebola virus, the passenger should not have boarded the plane. Duh. The CBP spokesperson said in a statement. But, see, y'all don't understand. Y'all President, Agent Orange, out here pissing off everybody. The United States don't have allies right now. Except Israel. That's it. And they just dumb, ditzy, and delusional as the orange one that we got in the office. So you don't honestly think that they would put something on a plane headed here to destroy us because of this ignorant bastard in office? Come on, y'all. I need y'all to think. I need y'all to think. God gave us a brain for a reason. You think guns are the only way to end lives? If that's what you're thinking, if World War III is predicated upon only guns in your mind, you are highly unprepared for this conversation. And this is probably the stop where you should probably get off or baby hunker the hell down because we about to go deeper. Montreal Trudeau directed request for comment to Air France, which confirmed that Flight 378 was diverted at the request of U.S. authorities after it departed Paris on Wednesday, landing in Montreal shortly after 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There was no medical emergency on board, and like all airlines, Air France is required to comply with the entry requirements of the countries it serves. An Air France spokesperson said in a statement. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced Monday that the U.S. will restrict entry for people without U.S. passports who were in Congo. What if they do have U.S. passports? The hell do that even mean? What part of they have an Ebola outbreak going on do we not get? Hold on one second. Let me look up something. Okay, I had to look up something. All right. In a notice submitted to the Federal Register published Thursday, CPB and the Department of Homeland Security announced new arrival restrictions directing all flights to the U.S. with passengers who have recently traveled to Congo, Uganda, or South Sudan to land at Washington Dulles, is that how you pronounce it? International Airport in Virginia. The restrictions began Thursday and apply to any person who has departed from or was otherwise present within the 3 countries within 21 days of the date of the person's entry or attempted entry into the U.S., according to the document. We don't even have to go further with this. This is dumb. The people who are in control are dumb. At the end of the day, why are you letting anyone into the country when there's a whole pandemic going on over there where they're coming from? Why are they letting anyone leave the country? I don't give a damn if they got doggone symptoms. Have we not realized that symptoms no longer matter in the world that we live in? Because we have a bunch of people that are asymptomatic. Okay. Let me know what you think about Ebola. Let's continue. Because it gets better in the land that we call America. Let's go. Hold on. Why are you open? I don't want you here. You know, I really hate these, because I can't close it. Hold on. Let me try to do this. Hold on. There we go. So, the title of the show today is Follow the Money, right? Please explain to me how exactly Trump has a fund with $1.8 billion in it that can go to rioters, but TSA workers had to go without pay, to the point where ICE allegedly had to come in and assist. And remember, everything that I'm saying is alleged. If this is a lie, it's CNN lie. Please explain to me how there's a compensation fund that's this much. This is why you need to stay with me for today's show. Matter of fact, I need you to go invite some of your MAGA friends, some of your maggot friends, all of them. I don't give a damn. Invite them all, because I need you to see where your money is going. That's where we're going today, baby. We following the money on a world level. See, the problem is a lot of y'all too busy focusing, too citywide. You focusing on your household when you talk about follow the money. You're focusing on politicians. Baby, this is so much bigger than politicians. And I'm getting ready to show you. Stay with me. This is a long overdue. Jan 6 rioters and election deniers celebrate Trump's $1.8 billion compensation fund. This is why I keep telling y'all, when we start talking about impeachment, you know who really needs to be impeached? The Supreme Court. All of them. Get them all out. They're the ones who gave this man absolute immunity. They're the ones who made this man think he's God. Get them all out. Once you get them all out and start over, terms for them all. There should not be an office where a person is in office for the rest of their lives. The president got to be voted in and out. Why doesn't anyone else? Supporters of President Trump, who tried to overturn the 2020 election, are among those eager to potentially cash in from the $1.8 billion compensation fund for people the Trump administration believes were victims of government weaponization and lawfare. You can't even make this up. In interviews from CNN, Convicted U.S. Capitol rioters from Jan 6, 2021, fake electors and prominent election deniers said they're hoping to tap the massive fund which they think is long overdue. I can't even find a job answering the phone at a motorcycle dealership, said convicted Jan 6 rioter Dominic Box. Why should you? You ran up in the government, the White House. That's what you did. Help me, the state capitol. You ran up in there thinking what? You were standing on business, destroying stuff. Please help me understand. Why was this even on the table as an option? Is what I'm trying to figure out. He spent 1.5 years in jail awaiting trial and was later pardoned by Trump. Every action that they took on January 6th, you or me would be brought up on treason charges. Crimes against the United States government. But because Trump has absolute immunity and nothing he does while he's in office right now, as long as he can say that it is in the best interest of national security, nothing he can be convicted for, because your Supreme Court gave him absolute immunity while we running around here arguing over a box of crayons. Let's continue. Can't even find a way to support myself right now. I lost my career. Maybe you should have thought about that before you tried to overthrow the government. I look forward to financial compensation. I need it. This will be a welcome relief. My Pillow CEO, Mike Lindell, told CNN he believes his company lost $400 million due to what he views as government weaponization in the aftermath of 2020 election. He was perhaps the loudest promoter of the baseless voter fraud claims, drawing boycotts from businesses, defamation lawsuits, and even FBI scrutiny. I would say we were the #1 company in the world hurt by our own government, says Lindell. Now, mind you, this is what you decided to do. So this is like walking up to somebody, punching them in the face, and then getting mad when they punch you back. A lawyer for One America News, the pro-Trump channel, I was trying to figure out where the hell this news come from because I ain't never heard of it before, that promoted false 2020 vote rigging claims, also confirmed to CNN that the company is seriously considering pursuing rights under the fund. OAN was later dropped by most large cable providers and also settled multiple 2020 related defamation lawsuits. Top Trump administration officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance and Acting Attorney General Todd Blanc, have dodged questions over whether people convicted of January 6 related crimes, including people who assaulted police. Do y'all not understand how much of a slap in the face this is to law enforcement? Law enforcement that was unalived. Law enforcement that was injured. Law enforcement that was hospitalized. That you would even allow this to be put on the table and considered in a vote. What country is this even is? I know it didn't make sense because the country don't make sense. Anybody can help, he told lawmakers during a budget hearing, noting that even people who stormed the Capital One summit claimed that will be reviewed by a 5-member commission that he'll appoint. The fund is open to a much broader swath than Trump allies, far beyond the 2020 election. Potential recipients could include people who were scrutinized during special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling in 2016 election. Trump administration officials who were entangled in Trump-Ukraine impeachment in 2019 and others. The first known potential claimant, Trump advisor. You know what? Obama, where's your lawsuit? Where? Because he done had defamation of his character. Like, we can just deal with the last 2 weeks. Where's Obama's $1 billion lawsuit against the Trump administration for defamation of character, for blatant lies, for weaponizing people, for weaponizing a judicial system, attempting to, against a former sitting president? Where's Obama's? Since we just throwing out lawsuits, since the president of the United States of America can sue the government that he's president over. Obama, where's your lawsuit? You might as well own Trump Towers. He trying to own the government. You might as well go for what's his. Isn't this the name of the game? The art of war? We are talking about You Sank My Battleship. The world's most dangerous game. That is what we're discussing. So Obama deserves a lawsuit now too. Matter of fact, who else can we throw in there? Scandal deserves a lawsuit because it's no longer on air. And I miss Olivia Pope, Papa Pope, and President Fitz. I miss Fitz. So they deserve a lawsuit. Come on, let's just throw them all out there. Is there anything else I need to cover from this? This is absolute joke. 1,600 people charged in connection with the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. You are willing to split. Let me see. Hold on. Is there more than 1,600 people? That's what I'm trying to see. This should really show you what Trump cares about. If there is only 1,600 people, the pot is 1.6 billion or so. That gives each one of them $1 million. So the individuals who stormed the Capitol, ran over police officers, unalived officers, put individuals who work in our Capitol, and I keep saying the White House, Lord, they all the same to me, Lord Jesus, forgive me, but put them in fear of their lives. Meanwhile, when you're on the street and you get into it with the police or you get into it with ICE, Trump wants them to do whatever they can to lay you down. But the rioters could run over the police. This why y'all can't listen to what these people are. They lying in y'all face. One minute they tell y'all one thing, the next minute they tell y'all another. Y'all so blinded by y'all ignorance. Y'all so blinded by the words that these people say that y'all not paying attention to their actions. How do you say one thing in the beginning, say something else in the end, and nobody is aware of what's going on in the middle? Yep. The January 6 people should absolutely get $1.6 billion. Yeah, because they were done wrong. Yeah, they should. They should. The police also should unalive and end the lives of individuals who don't obey their orders. Yeah, they should. They should. But then when you go to them and tell them, well, the police officers on January 6th was just trying to do just that. So how do those individuals deserve 1.6? Well, it was done unfairly on January 6th. They didn't follow the letter of the law when they did what they did on January 6th. They should have just moved out of the way of the crowd. They should have moved when they saw them coming at them. They saw the sticks and the chains and the bats. They saw the anger. They weren't angry with the police, so the police should have just got out the way. They wanted to get in there and make a point. And whoever they hurt in the process, that's just who they hurt in the process. But, come on now. They really didn't mean to hurt anyone. Drop in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Hold on one second. I gotta run to the door real quick, y'all. Talk amongst yourselves, and when I get back, I'm gonna scroll through some of y'all comments before we go further.
Taste of my freedom when you feel this grip. Night rider on the town, champagne on my lip. He's speaking cold, fire in his throat, low like a stone under that coat. She move like smoke, soft but she sting, hauling him closer, pulling the string. Come here, I'm the tide pulling back, then I crash on you. You the spark in my glass when it catches blue. We two bros in the back of a tinted view on this night like the stars only shine for two. Don't speak. Champagne and silk, I'm empowered when I sip. Every word I say now, honey on my lip. Cruising through the city like a shadow in the mist. Night rider on the town, every move a gift. Champagne and silk, let it slide, let it drip. Voice like a dagger and a kiss, same tip. Taste of my freedom when you feel this grip. Night rider on the town, champagne on my lip. Sit back. Champagne on my tongue, silk on my skin, undone. You lean in, say my name like a secret, like a sin. Coconut blow on your collarbone, salt on your lips, I taste home. You say.
All right, y'all, we're back. Now, let me see what y'all say. Let's scroll back. Mr. T's estate, for when many look at the current state of the government. You pity the fool. That's old school. If you know, you know. Django's last scene gave insight to what happened 6 years ago, allegedly. Yeah. Please hit the like button. Please. Sesame Street needs to sue. Who tries to cancel Big Bird? This current administration, shaking my head, allegedly. Hell, all this money not accounting for, everybody about to have class action lawsuits, even after Trump. Absolutely. Absolutely. We ain't got no money according to them. So explain to me how there's a 1.6, I don't give a damn how much it is. How is there $1 billion anything when we supposedly broke? Progressive, he trying to erase history and allegedly said it was their people enslaved. I was all done. They most are in hopes of another stimmy from Bigots, Daddy Warbucks, America Nope, it's Annie Orphan. Annie or Orphan. In hopes of a hero. Hell, we all Annie. Somebody drop a hashtag Orphan Annie in the chat. We all about to be some orphan Annies. Y'all just wait till y'all see this. Y'all hunkle up. I hope y'all got a glass full of something. And why the people who can't impeach ain't impeaching. Think about it. Absolutely, Nisi. Okay, let's go. So I wanted to show y'all that I ain't even gonna continue down that rabbit hole. I'm not. First of all, it's trash. And I'm gonna show you why. Let's go ahead and get into it. Y'all ready? Y'all know when we first started off going through this, I told y'all the reason why, and I need everybody to put in the chat hashtag Astana. Astana. Your assignment in your downtime this weekend is I need you to go down the Astana rabbit hole. Now, Astana is what's known as Eurasia. It's right on the line that divides Europe from Asia. So it's not fully in Europe, not fully in Asia, but it seems everything just about flows through it, allegedly. Let's go. Let me show you something. You Sank My Battleship, the Strait of Hormuz Edition, history's biggest game. In my opinion, most dangerous. Because they playing with people's lives. And the people whose lives are being played with don't see it. Because we're too busy focusing on other stuff. This is why I need y'all, for real, I don't give a damn. I don't have to hate you to love me. Get it? I love me so much, I love you. I'm one of those individuals who I say proudly, I do not see color. Argue with your mama, don't argue with me. When I look at a woman or a man, do I notice that they are of a different ethnicity or race? Yes, but that's not what I focus on. I don't get to know you because you're black, white, yellow, or in between. I get to know you because I love your personality and your energy. I don't give a damn what color you are. You need to stop focusing on color, because if you keep focusing on color, you're going to miss the big picture that they plan with your life and with your money. While we sitting around depressed, damn near suicidal, you got people taking out their entire families, taking out themselves, because they don't know what they are going to do from one moment to the next. But you got this game being played, and y'all don't even see it with y'all money. Let's go. Strait of Hormuz. Just want you to see, for everybody who really doesn't know, the Strait of Hormuz is this little section in this picture right over here. Right? Y'all know I'm a visual, so we got visuals today. Oh yes, we do. This little section, this is where Trump messed up at. This is where he bit off more than he could chew. Because in order to get to Iraq, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, any of these, you gotta make it through the strait unless you're gonna go through land. In order to go through land, you got to have people who, number one, are able to handle the terrain. Number two, you got to have people who are on the same level of them with hand-to-hand combat. That's why the idiot sent the Marines in first. And when he sent the Marines to try to go do a ground battle first, I damn near flipped over my whole desk at work. I did. Because when and ever do we send the Marines in first? Why? Why would you send the Marines in first? Why? Well, I get it. You know, someone who's never fought in the military, someone who consistently dodged the doggone military drafts, could care less who they send in first because they don't understand the art of war. You see what he told him, just get through there. Stop being scared. Just dumb. How do we allow a cartoon character to be the leader of the quote unquote free world? Allegedly. Please tell me. But Strait of Hormuz. Why is the strait important? Strait is important because it feeds fuel, natural resources, petroleum, liquid natural gas, LNG. Remember, we learned that. Crude oil, all this to the world. You remember I was a little slow because I don't pay attention to stuff like this. I hadn't until now. So this was all a learning experience for me, right? Because when I looked at it, I said, I don't understand why they got to go through here. It's a dead end. What's over there? Look, so you just taking your ships in there? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Don't you do too much. Because I'm willing to admit what I don't know. Why it's a circle. It's a dead end. So, of course, I had to have a conversation with ChatGPT. So, ChatGPT was the one that broke down this for me and let me know, like, nah, baby, you missing it. See, you don't understand what's really going on in the Persian Gulf. In order for you to understand why all of them Arabian princes over there is all gold everything. Gold cars, gold toilet, gold bed, gold walls, gold bidets, gold coming out the damn faucets. You got to understand what the Persian Gulf actually produces and for who. Right? So I said, okay, all right, I got it. They feeding oil to the world. Okay, people got to come through here. And I'm like, well, help me understand, why does it have to come through here? Why can't they just go around here? Because then they have to come across land and they can't get as much oil across land. The best way for it to travel is by the water. Okay, so they got to come through here. Got it. So it started making more sense, right? So I thought. Why the world needs the strait. You see it right there. See, I'm breaking it down for you. Higher cost if they don't use the strait. If they go around it and go somewhere else, longer routes, more fuel, more cost, slower delivery, weeks longer to reach major markets, supply choke risk, fewer routes equals more vulnerability. Being robbed, being attacked, pirates, all of that. Limited alternatives, not enough pipelines, LNG or renewables to replace. What the world gets: fuels, the global economy, affordable energy, reliable supply, natural gas, and more, right? This is why keeping the Strait of Hormuz open is important. So keep going. Who it supplies, how much, to whom, and how much they make. So this is where it got interesting for me, right? Because I was watching this and looking at it and I said, hold on a minute. Hold on. I see Saudi Arabia. I see Iraq. I see the UAE. I see Iran, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain. See that? I see China, India, Japan, South Korea, Europe, all the major markets. What I didn't see was the United States. So then I got confused because Agent Orange is causing a whole lot of hell over here in this area. And he causing hell like our next drop of gas depends on this strait being open. So it was concerning to me that I did not see, of all of the countries that you could see on this list, I don't see the United States. So of course, me going on a trip on our favorite rocket ship, you know I had to go on the deep dive, right? Let's keep going. How the U.S. fits in, down there in the right, bottom right corner. Not a major buyer the U.S. imports from the Persian Gulf are very low. We produce more and import more from Canada and Latin America. I said, interesting. Keep going. Major energy producer and exporter. The U.S. is top. Do you hear that? The U.S. is the top oil and LNG, liquid natural gas, producer and exports to Europe and Asia. Interesting. Security backbone. The U.S. don't need oil from here, but we help security. Okay. Indirectly dependent. Disruptions spike global prices, affecting the U.S. economy, inflation, and energy costs. Interesting. So we kept going. Because I had to know, well, why doesn't the United States use the Strait of Hormuz? We over here raising complete hell over here in these people area, disrupting the entire world. Please explain to me why we don't use it. Okay. Because this is where the U.S. gets its oil from, allegedly. Canada, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Colombia, Iraq, Brazil, and other countries. Iraq and Brazil are very low. Colombia is very low. Mexico and Canada are the highest. Where the U.S. exports its oil? Canada, Europe, Asia, Latin America, and other. Interesting. So then this got me to thinking, so help me understand why we are over here in a war. Now, I told y'all in the beginning that whenever we, the United States, is over in the Middle East for any reason, ramification, or anything else, it's always about the oil. Always. Always. But with this, I learned something that I didn't know. With this, I learned it's not for the oil the way we think it is. See, I thought that we were over there for the oil because we needed the oil. No. Because again, and if it's a lie, it's ChatGPT lie. We are the number one producer of oil. You saw it. Let's go back. We produce and export more. You see that? Major energy producer and exporter of oil and liquid natural gas. You get it? So, I don't need your oil, but I don't have enough buyers that's purchasing from me to give me the kind of money that you seeing. So even though I don't need your oil, if I disrupt your money, then that makes your clientele have to come to me. If I destroy your oil fields or take them over, then they got to come to me. So this whole game ain't because we need oil. This whole game is because Trump wants to be number one. I told y'all from the beginning, Trump is the wild card before he was even elected. When Kamala stepped up, Biden stepped down. I told y'all, take your eyes off Kamala. That ain't never gonna happen. Never going to happen. Y'all gonna have to dig up some doggone deceased relatives for that to happen. At its core, America is still a Southern run country who does not believe in women leadership. Argue with your mama, not me. Go ask any Southern male. You could ask a pastor. They can talk that stuff when it's election time. Yeah, but get them in private and get them in a conversation. Just a regular conversation. Don't ask questions that you know they've prepared the answers for already. They'll tell you what they really think. Kamala was never going to be president. That's why she was never part of the conversation. Trump was always the wild card. Always. Because Trump always let you know, when I get in office, I'm going to do what I want to do. He let you know what he was going to do when he got in. Y'all just didn't believe him. Now it's a money game. Let's go. Now let's go over to a place that's over in this area, about 2,200 miles or so from the Strait of Hormuz, a place known as Astana, Kazakhstan. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of Astana. Now, before I got into this deep dive, I hadn't heard of Astana. Hold on, let me stop. Let me stop this. There we go. Now, I hadn't heard of this place known as Astana. Now, why are you still going? Oh, here. I'm sorry. Manual. Here we go. I actually found out about this place because I was watching Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, y'all know he eats Trump alive on his shows. And in the middle of his little intro, he showed this place known as Astana. And I looked and I said, where did a Kazakhstan come from? Never in the history of my history do I remember hearing anything about Astana. Well, it got more interesting as I went and looked further into Astana, right? So let's go. Let me get through some of this. Here we go. So, Astana is essentially this futuristic looking city that has been being built over the last few years, right? And what I want you to understand is your money has been going to build this city. Yeah, scoot on up. Grab your glass, your tings, your rings, and things. Yeah, because did you know about this quote-unquote city of the future? Have you? That is being built under your nose? And your money has been going to fund it and build it? Let's go. This Friday, I ain't got nothing to do. If y'all don't have nothing to do, journey with me a little bit. Now, the first weird thing that I noticed about this city known as Astana, do y'all see the lineup of the positioning of the buildings in this city? It made me think of a chakra line. That doesn't look like a chakra line to you? All of the images where you seen where people are talking about chakras and the head chakra and the throat and all of this, that don't look like a straight chakra line to you? Even the colors, it's not reminiscent. Maybe it's just me. Let's continue. And I want you all to remember this. What I am showing you is not like from a movie. This is a real place. You have the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation. It looks like a pyramid. The top of the pyramid is open. It is not complete. the top of it is stained glass windows and it has a light. So at night, when it is lit up, there is a beam or a light that looks like it is extending into the heavens. The one thing that I want to let you know about this place, and we dealt with this extensively on I think our last video, so you can definitely go back and see the full breakdown of all of this. But everything in Astana seems like it is sending a signal to the sky, to something in the sky, to let it know where to land at. You ain't got to believe me. You know, I'm a chick of receipts. Let's go. This is the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation. I told you I was going to show y'all the breakdown, right? Just briefly. I don't understand why it needs an atrium and a garden, but I really would love to know what kind of plants are in this garden, because I'm pretty willing to believe they're plants that you probably ain't seen nowhere else in life. Ever. Congress Hall, Opera Hall. There's a summit meeting room. And one of the things about the summit meeting room that you will learn when people talk about the Palace of Peace and Reconciliation is the seating arrangement. They have a round conference table inspired by the UN General Assembly Hall, used for Congress and high-level meetings of world leaders and religious figures. Now, I believe this may be the one that has the 200-seated round table that they think is actually for the 200 fallen angels. Oh, baby, it's a whole rabbit hole. The next one is going to be the sphere. Now, one thing that I want to let you know about that pyramid that I just showed you, it's a perfect pyramid. All sides, perfect. All the little triangles within the pyramid, perfect triangles. The symmetry of this pyramid is perfect, and I want to know why. Why did it need to be perfect? Generally, things only need to be perfect when something needs to flow through it or flow into it. You know, like a perfect conduit or a perfect connection. So why? Why? And when you come to this sphere is 80 meters in diameter all the way around. Again, a perfect sphere. Why? This building actually extends underground to where allegedly the control rooms and things are. Again, another thing that you will notice about most of the buildings within Astana is the tops are not finished. They're all open. Let's continue. This is the Bideric Tower. Now, this one is attached to their legend about the golden tree of life. This is supposed to be reminiscent of the tree of life, and their legendary bird, the Samruk, laid an egg, so which gave birth to life. However the story goes. So the round golden circle, which is 22 meters in diameter, again a perfect golden orb that sits upon this tree with a handprint symbol in it. Yeah. So this what they've been cooking, and oh, Zach, it gets so much better. You so much. Let's go. Ak Orda. This is their heart of governance. This is their state building. And if you look at the top of it, the top of that don't look like an antenna to you. Is it just me? That don't look like an antenna? Okay. But to what is my question? What are they trying to communicate with? Let's keep going. This is the Concierge. This is actually the kind of guest center with the stores, and there's amusement parks, as you see, a gondola ride in the shopping center. There's a whole indoor beach on the inside of here. What I was curious about was to why this building was purple. But again, you see at the top an antenna. All of these buildings light up at night. All of them. Let's continue. The Abu Dhabi Plaza. Now, the one thing that I noticed about this thingamajig on the ground is this looks a whole lot like a Stargate to me. This don't look like a Stargate to you? Don't look like a portal to you? This doesn't look like baby CERN, maybe, to you? All of these axes are perfectly aligned and perfect distances from each other. Why? Why does every structure outside of maybe a architect or designer just trying to be creative and see if they can do it? No, they didn't see if they could do it. They did it. Why? And why here? What is Astana is what I want to know. What is this place? Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Because this is where this gets really important to your question, Zach. Expo 2017, by show of hands, someone in the chat, or show of champagne glasses, put a champagne glass in the chat if you've ever heard of anything called Expo 2017. Put an angry face in the chat if you have not. I had never heard of Expo 2017. But apparently this was a 3-month-long extravaganza that took place with the unveiling of Astana. Future energy. The event was dedicated to one of the most important challenges of our time, future energy. It combined innovation, sustainability, and cooperation to shape a better future for the planet. Now, I want to let you know that somehow in Astana, they found a way to tap into some sort of free energy because just about everything in here has some level of solar powering. That's why everything is open at the top. But they can send money to do it in Astana, but they can't figure out how to do it in your neighborhood? Oh, let's continue. The total cost to construct Astana, city of the future, $1.5 billion. Now, what I need y'all to do, really quick, I told y'all to stay with me. We going somewhere, and this ain't it. We got more. I need you to look in the bottom left corner. It says top contributing countries. Kazakhstan, 1.2 million. China, 100 million. Russia, 80 million. United States, who million? Who? Huh? So, we took $60 million and invested it in the Jetsons, pre-Jetson City. Because I'm pretty for sure flying cars are next here. 60 million. But you got to make life decisions at the gas pump. Make it make sense. You got to decide whether or not you want $10 of gas or a sub. The subs even cost $10 anymore. because food is inflated. Yeah. Again, I say, did y'all know about this? Was it in any of your voting packages? Like, the times that you went to the poll to vote on how US dollars are spent and what's done with it. Did you see Astana on anybody's ballot? Don't worry, I'll wait. Did you see Expo 2017? Oh, hold on a second. 115 countries were there. 22 international organizations. 3.7 million visitors. 174 hectare site area. 8,000 plus events. So you mean tell me that all the world leaders could get along for this? But then they get in your face, our face, and act like they arch nemesis? But y'all could put all that aside to build the Wizard of Oz over here? The Emerald City? The yellow brick road, clearly? Yeah, that's why I keep telling y'all, stop letting them play in y'all face. Stop worrying about black versus white. It's time to put the box of crayons down. Like we're 40, 50, 30, hell, 20. It's time to stop focusing on color. We did that in grade school. It's time for us to focus on the bigger picture, which is what the hell they doing with our money. While we're struggling and broke, they sending our money over to what? Build the city that they finna run off to? Because who's gonna live here? Let's go. Let's go. This got into the injuries while they were getting it together. Some more injuries. I wanted you all to be able to see this, because I knew nothing about Astana or Expo 2017. I didn't even see a commercial, an ad. Nobody, not CNN, not ABC, not NBC. Nobody was discussing the fact that all of the world leaders were in one place in 2017 for the unveiling of Astana, where they sent all of our money to. Let's continue. This is going to get into a lot of the conspiracies behind Astana, because there's some dark conspiracies. But that led me to today's topic. Let's go. Because one of the things that I noticed was that the funding for Astana came from something called the World Bank. Now, I don't know if many of you understand, but let me see. Do I have it on here? Hold on. No, I didn't. Okay, so we'll just do it this way. Here we go. So, one of the things that this story led me to is trying to figure out how this funding thing works, right? That led me to something called the World Bank. Have you all ever heard of the World Bank? It's an actual bank. It's not just a talking point where people refer to something and just say, oh, it's just the World Bank. No, it's an actual place, building, an actual location. So today we're going to get into the World Bank, how it was created, how it's funded, the meeting, the plan, the power, funding development, shaping economies, influencing policies, impacting billions, how it influences the world. Scoot up. This is about to get good. All right. So, the first thing that we really want to get into with the World Bank is we want to talk about how the World Bank was created. Now, the reason why this became so important to me was because I found out that the United States pours money into the World Bank. And when I found out that it actually had a location and the location was in Washington, D.C., next to our Federal Reserve, I said, okay, so wait, what? I'm sorry, press pause. Who? So the World Bank is in the United States? Why? Let's go. Let's talk about why. The World Bank, how it was yeah, I can't talk. Hold on, let me get some water. The World Bank, how it was created, a new global system for a new world. A world intertwined, the World Bank works with governments, institutions, and partners around the globe to fund projects and shape economies. Let's go. The origins, post-war world. After World War II, the world was in ruins. Leaders met to build a new international financial order to promote stability, reconstruction, and economic growth, right? I need y'all to do me a real big favor, and y'all know, I need y'all to hit that subscribe button. Y'all know I generally don't care about being in the algorithm for real. I like being with my champagne gang who like being with me, whether it's 1, 2, 5, or 20. I don't care. But y'all need to see this. You do. Us, especially if you're in the U.S. Because we've been going through a lot. And I've been seeing a lot of people at their wits' end, ready to break. And when I went down this rabbit hole, matter of fact, I was on the phone with one of my champagne gang. We were going through it together. I was telling her some of the stuff that I found, and we were literally in tears on the phone at how they're trying to play us like fiddles. We are expendable. The only thing they care about from us is our money. To them, we are checks. That's it. And I'm about to show you. Financial order to promote stability, reconstruction, and economic growth. The Bretton Woods Conference, 44 nations came together to design a new financial system. Out of these meetings came two key institutions that would shape the modern world: the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, the IBRD. How it works. The World Bank Group is made up of 5 institutions working together to end poverty and boost shared prosperity. The IBRD lends to middle-income and credit-worthy low-income countries. The IDA provides grants and low-interest loans to the world's poorest countries. The IFC invests in the private sector in developing countries. The MIGA provides guarantees to investors to encourage foreign direct investments. The ICSID resolves investment disputes between governments and foreign investors. Get it? And baby, you ain't gonna find this information nowhere else because me and ChatGPT created this. So y'all put some likes on this damn board for this information. Now here, I'm just trying to help y'all see why we need to come together and figure out something real fast, because they playing with us. And if we not careful, it ain't gonna matter how. Do y'all not realize if the US dollar drops, It don't matter how much money you got in the bank. Do you not get it? All of y'all running around talking about you rich. All of your rappers, city girls, y'all the ones you running after for a bag. Do you not realize if the United States USD drops, that means nothing? But keep on, keep on thinking it's all about a bag. Keep on. Y'all need focus. Timeline, 1939 to 45. World War II devastation leads to a call for global cooperation. 1944 was the conference. Plans are made for a new international economic order. 1945, agreement signed. IMF agreement signed December 27, 1945. IBRD agreement signed December 27, 1945. 1946, the World Bank begins operations. IBRD opens for business June 25th, 1946. 1960s to present expansion and impact. The bank grows, adds new institutions, and expands its global development role. Sounds good, right? Global impact, funding projects, building futures, poverty reduction, infrastructure, human capital, sustainable development, global partnerships. This is what it's about. We cannot always build the future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Franklin D. Roosevelt. Let's continue. This brought me to an even bigger question. Well, if the World Bank was created as a bailout source, who does the World Bank bail out? Let's take a closer look. You see this on a whole major countries we have right here on this slide. You see Ukraine, 15 plus billion, Turkey, 17 plus billion, Pakistan, 20 plus billion, Mexico, 4 billion, Colombia, 11, Nigeria, 17, Ethiopia, 10, Egypt, 13, Kenya, 7, Indonesia, 14. Please help me understand, because some of these places were known as the enemy. So you telling me that we help to bail out the enemy? Do it make sense now that I'm saying it out loud? Let's keep going. The World Bank provides loans, grants, and financial assistance to countries facing economic challenges, climate crisis, conflicts, and development setbacks. Major countries bailed out in loans, credits, grants, and technical assistance. The mission to end extreme poverty and promote shared prosperity on a sustainable planet. Interesting. I guess it can happen for the world, but not for the country, right? End poverty, invest in people. We ain't seen that yet, except the Jan 6. I guess they would be the invest in people portion of it, huh? Build resilience, promote prosperity. By the numbers, $392 plus billion committed to low and middle income countries in fiscal year 2023. 100 plus countries supported worldwide. Thousands of projects in development, infrastructure, education, health, and more, working with governments, businesses, and communities to build sustainable futures. What they fund? Oh, we looked at that. Let's go. Mexico, Bangladesh, 13.5 billion. Indonesia, 14.3. You see it? Amounts reflect World Bank Group commitments, loans, credits, grants. As of recent reports, numbers fluctuate yearly based on new approvals and country needs. The source for this information is from the worldbank.org. Date as of fiscal year 2023. Let's keep going. Let's look at the minor countries that have been bailed out. Now, the support that's been given to them, over 2.9 billion. 45 million to Belize, blue economy, disaster risk management, sustainable tourism infrastructure. Sao Tome and Principe, 50 million. The World Bank Group, you see what those are. Investing in people, building resilience, creating opportunity. A better world starts with supporting even the smallest nations. What the money supports: infrastructure, climate resilience, education, health, agriculture and jobs, governance and inclusion. Interesting that we would help fund a bank that helps support and build inclusion, but it's outlawed and banned in our own country. The hypocrisy of it all, don't you think? But let's continue, because the hypocrisy goes so much deeper. You see these numbers. 120 million to Moldova. I don't even know where that is. Vanuatu, 36 million. Don't know where that is. Gambia, 60 million. Malawi, 80 million. Burundi, 78 million. Grenada, 40 million. Majority of these places I've never heard of before. Now, this took me into, do I want to go here with this one? Let me see. Hold on. Where do I want to go? Let's go here. The United States and the World Bank. The one thing that you need to understand is that the United States is not a recipient of any funding or any bailout from the World Bank. None. Zilch. Zero. We don't benefit from it because we fund it. I'm sorry, us. Not them, us. We, the people. We, the people, fund the World Bank. But we can't benefit from the World Bank because we run it. So, our president takes your money, puts it into the World Bank. They take that money and send it to fund and build infrastructure, education. While he's cutting our education, he's sending your tax dollars to build it up in other countries. That don't sound a little hypocritic to you? Just a little bit? Let's keep going. Look at how we bail these countries out from us. Latin America and Caribbean, Sub-Saharan Africa, East Asia and Pacific, South Asia, Middle East and North America, Europe and Central Asia. All from the World Bank, but none of it comes back to us. Let's look at our role and why we can't get a bailout and why we're not a recipient. The U.S. role in the World Bank, we are the largest shareholder. The U.S. holds 16% of total voting power, more than any other country. Major decisions require U.S. approval due to its voting share. influence leadership. The tradition of the U.S. nominating the World Bank president has existed since the institution's birth. Financial backer. The U.S. has contributed tens of billions in capital and replenishments. Headquarters advantage. The World Bank HQ is in Washington, D.C., steps away from the U.S. Treasury, IMF, and federal institutions. The bigger pictures, what supporters say. Let me blow this up. Hold on. The World Bank funds critical projects, reduces poverty and improves lives, builds infrastructure and opportunities, supports developing countries, encourages good governance. The cons to it, it says, hold on, creates debt dependency, imposes policy conditions, influences national sovereignty, advances global power structures, benefits the financially elite. The U.S. contributions to the World Bank, over 75 plus billion. The U.S. contributions since inception through capital increases, IDA replenishments, and trust funds. How the hell do you have a trust fund for a country? So they just running around here setting up trust funds for each other. Meanwhile, you can barely set one up for your great-grandchild. Less known grandchild. Less known children. Come on, y'all. Why the U.S. is involved. Global stability equals U.S. stability. Open markets equal U.S. economic growth. Reduced poverty equals reduced conflict. Infrastructure abroad equals more trade. Stronger partners equals stronger alliances. It's crazy that this is what this means, but the U.S. is violating all of them. And they continue to allow the U.S. to control the World Bank. Of course, because the world don't care that the U.S. is funding it with our money. They don't care because they're benefiting. But do you know who should care? I don't know, maybe your commander-in-chief. Maybe. Just maybe. Let's keep going. How U.S. influence works inside the World Bank. They set an agenda. The U.S. influence helps shape the priorities and policies of the World Bank. They approve major decisions. Large loans, policy changes, and country programs require U.S. voting power. Set conditions. Loans and funding often come with economic policy conditions and reforms. Drive development. Funds are directed toward infrastructure, education, energy, and growth projects. The U.S. is not bailed out by the World Bank. The U.S. built it, funds it, and leads it. Again, I say, the U.S. is not bailed out by the World Bank because we built it, we fund it, and we lead it. So our money, we can barely get food, clothes. Vacation is, child, that's to the corner store and back. Matter of fact, that's to your front door and back. To your car and back. Can barely put gas in your car. But your tax dollars are going to the World Bank to fund the world. Oh, baby, it's not over. It gets so much deeper. Let's look at how the World Bank is funded. All right, so the World Bank is funded by annual payments and subscriptions, right? The cycle, member countries contribute capital and funds. The World Bank uses capital to borrow in global markets. Funds are lent to countries for development projects. Countries repay loans with interest over time. Repayments and earnings replenish funds to lend again. We are funded by our members. We are owned by our members. We work for a world free of poverty. Who? Who works for that? Not the United States. Who? Oh, and let me just throw this little tidbit in. They give these loans at 0 to little interest. So while your credit card is shooting up like $50 to $100 every time you late on a payment because you got a credit card debt, they're bailing each other out with 0% interest. Millions of dollars on the line at 0% interest. Yet they want you to give up a lung, kidney, half your heart, skull, brain, eye tissue, and throat to get a loan of $600. But let's continue. How it's funded. Capital subscriptions. Money paid by member countries that form the foundation of the World Bank. Yeah, so our country is paying an annual subscription. Well, I don't know if it's annual or monthly. We don't know. Subscription. Your money is going in the World Bank under a subscription. That means it's coming out regardless. Borrowing on financial markets, 35%. The World Bank borrows in global capital markets by issuing bonds. Oh, we're going to get into that. Retained earnings, 15%. Earned income from loans, investments, and fees. Grants and donor contributions, 7%. Donations from countries, foundations, and partners for specific programs. We already went into what it funds, governance and ownership. 189 member countries. We did that. Key financial facts. Total assets, approximately $587 billion. Loans outstanding, $247 billion. Net income, $4 billion. Total commitments, new financing, 105. So we ain't just trying to break the United States. We trying to break the world? Who is the World Bank accountant? That's what I need to know. Who the hell is the financial advisor? And please don't tell me Agent Orange. Please. Because y'all gonna give me another reason to be completely poured out. Matter of fact, I ain't even poured out. I'm spilled. How is it your total assets is $587 billion, but your net income is $4 billion? How? How exactly do you have $246 billion in outstanding loans? They don't have no collection department that work for the World Bank that call the countries to ask for their money back? They got them to call and ask you for your money. For your house loan, student loan, credit card. Hell, y'all, I got a credit card with, who was it? It wasn't Capital One. It was one like Capital One. It was a Capital something. I hadn't even used the credit card. Less than 30 days after I got it, and I wasn't even working at the time. That's what pissed me off. Less than 30 days after I got the credit card, they hit me with an annual fee. So I called them. They calling me talking about when you gonna make your payment. Payment of what? I haven't used this card. Oh, well, you got hit with an annual. How do I get hit with an annual fee and I ain't had the card for 30 days? Well, that's the way it works, and you gotta pay. So I gotta pay you for something I ain't even used? Lady, please take this card back and cancel. Well, you still have to pay it because it was open. What? Oh, that's the trick to it. Meanwhile, countries are allowed to be in debt. And they ain't even trying to collect $264 billion. Make that make sense. How much is paid? 53.7 billion in capital subscriptions, total paid in capital. Annual contributions for special funds, 93 billion. Borrowing in markets, 55.5 billion. Fees and earnings, 2.3 billion. Annual payments by member countries, high income countries, top contributors, US, Japan, Germany, UK, France, and Canada, 2.523 billion in annual payments. Do y'all see this? Is that $1 billion apiece? Middle income countries, China, India, Brazil, Mexico, Indonesia, 600 to 900 million plus. Low income countries, many African countries, small island, 50 to 150 million. Total of all members, 3.5 to 4 billion plus dollars annually goes into the World Bank. You see there who funds it. Can you look at number one? So when we look at that number of the World Bank being funded, look who's funding it the most. Matter of fact, look at the difference in the capital per country. So that means of this 2.5 to 3 billion, because we are a high income country, yeah, majority of that we're putting in every year. Every year. Let's keep going. You mad yet? How much the U.S. is giving over time. Let's look at it. I'm going to just let you look at the numbers. Go ahead. While I take a small break. Go ahead. Check out the numbers.
Champagne and silk, drip off my tongue, gold on my wrist, moon on my lungs. You lean in close, soft on your skin. I taste the risk, then dive right in.
Let's get back into it. You see it. Key fact. The U.S. is the largest single shareholder in the World Bank, holding 16.39% of total voting power. And that's as of fiscal year 2024. U.S. contributions are used alongside other donors' funds and World Bank capital to maximize impact. Funds are repaid for loans and recycled to support new projects. Annual contributions in recent years. And again, if this is a lie, it's ChatGPT lie. Argue with them, not me. 2018, 1.46 billion. 2019, 1.65 billion. 2020, this was pandemic time, wasn't it? 1.69 billion, when we couldn't figure out how we were going to get ventilators and didn't have hospitals and people were dying. You remember the food trucks in New York? Remember them? You remember people going into the hospital throwing up and not coming back out, like losing their taste and smell and just being no more? Just every time you turn around, people were dying by the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Yeah, 1.69 billion during that year went to the World Bank. 2021. Oh, well, yeah, while we're recovering, some of us still fighting through, let's just go on up on the contribution amount. Let's just make it 1.74 billion. Mm-hmm. 2022. Yeah, let's just, while we're at it, let's just increase some more. Like, 1.84, 1.98. 2024, 2.15 billion. Let's go. The World Bank Group works in more than 100 companies. U.S. support helps reduce poverty, build resilience, and create opportunities worldwide. And again, this was quoted from the World Bank Annual Report 2024, dated as of June 30th, 2024. Again, all of these graphs that you see are created by me. That's just where the information comes from. Next thing I need you to see. We need to get into the United States and China, because I was a little confused. And the reason I was a little confused is because I know since I was a little girl in school, I have been told that the U.S. is in debt to China. Everything that we got says made in China. And I know they done told us that we are trillions in debt to China since from years ago. So I was trying to understand how we can be so in debt to a country, but be a financial superpower in the World Bank. This is why I keep telling y'all got to pay attention to stuff, because stuff don't be adding up. 2 + 2 don't equal 4. That's why you got to keep on your golden chapeau at all times. Let's get into it and let me show you. We're calling this the debt paradox, right? So, Wall Street, how we get into debt, that's what we're talking about first. Wall Street drives global finance. Federal Reserve prints the world's reserve currency. The World Bank funds development around the world. Washington, D.C. is the center of global financial power. China holds U.S. debt. $800 billion in treasury securities are held by China. They're an export machine. They sell goods to the United States and to the world. Digital yuan building alternative financial systems. Belt of Road Initiative expanding influence across the globe. U.S. trade deficit with China, $300+ billion annually. How the hell are we in a deficit with somebody that we're trading with? Why China buys U.S. debt? Protects exports, keeps U.S. markets strong so demand continues, stabilizes yuan, keeps the yuan competitive by recycling dollars, preserves trade advance, supports China's economic growth model, holds strategic leverage. Owning debt gives China influence and negotiating power. So the U.S. goes into debt. China buys that debt. So they therefore hold U.S. Treasury securities that they could eventually call in. Let's continue. How can the world's financial superpower owe trillions to its biggest op? China purchases U.S. Treasury securities. China lends money to the U.S. by buying its debt. The U.S. dependent on foreign debt buyers. The U.S. runs deficits and relies on foreign capital. Very thing they tell y'all not to do is the very thing they're doing. Don't buy if you don't have the money to pay for. Don't put anything on a credit card. If you don't have cash, then you can't afford to get it. That's what they tell you, right? But number 2 says the U.S. runs deficits and relies on foreign capital. Global trade imbalance. The U.S. buys more from China than it sells. So not only are we in debt, but we are buying more from them than we're selling to them. So it's not a even push and pull, should I say. Manufacturing moving overseas, jobs, factories, and wealth flow to China. Dollar dominance versus debt dependency. The dollar rules the world, but the U.S. owes the bill. China holds hundreds of billions in U.S. debt. China is amongst the largest holder of U.S. Treasury. So I need y'all to understand exactly what's going on here. I need y'all to get it. We go in debt on purpose. This ain't done by accident. We purposely spend more than we have. Then we rely on foreigners to see that we done fucked up and buy our debt so that we can continue to create more. Because it don't stop. We continue to create it. Now I need y'all to riddle me this, right? MAGA, maggots, and beyond. How exactly can the U.S. afford to pay your Jan 6 insurgents $1.6 billion when we have no money? And we rely on foreigners to buy our debt. So what you are then telling me is, in order for Agent Orange to give 1,600 people $1 million apiece, allegedly, he is going to have to create a debt to do it and rely on China again to bail us out. So right now, basically what you telling me is we owned by China. But they want you to pay back taxes? But they ain't paid back anything? Do it make sense when I say it out loud? Let's continue. U.S. national debt, 34 plus trillion and growing. Debt to GDP ratio is greater than 120% since 1980. It has climbed and climbed and climbed. China holds hundreds of billions in U.S. debt. How much does China hold? 800 plus billion in U.S. Treasury securities as of 2024. The money cycle. The U.S. spends beyond its means. Sells treasury bonds. China buys the debt. China uses money to export goods. U.S. consumes those goods. The U.S. trade deficit with China, $300 plus billion annually. How the hell do we keep picking on somebody we owe so much money to? This don't make y'all wonder what the end game of this is going to be with China? This doesn't make you question what happens if China calls in the debt? Let's go. We did this. Let me see. Can we get past this? We covered this. Oh, How the U.S. can put tariffs on a country it owes. Why it's legal. How it works. Right? So, the United States owes China money, right? 800 plus billion. China sells goods to the U.S., exports hundreds of billions in goods to the U.S. every year. China loans money to the U.S., buys U.S. debt. The U.S. buys goods from China. China not buying goods from us, so therefore, there's no equal trade. It keeps us in debt. Despite the debt, the U.S. can still impose tariffs on China's goods, and it is completely legal. So, apparently, right now, the tariffs allegedly impose 25%, right? The result, China goods become more expensive in the U.S. Goal, protect U.S. industries, reduce trade deficits, or pressure for policy changes. I don't understand how a broke nigga can make requests, but let's continue. What do I want to show you in here? Okay. All the way here on the far right, the U.S. Treasury pays interest regularly. When bonds mature, the U.S. repays the principal. Often the debt is rolled over or refinanced. The process continues regardless of any tariffs or trade actions. Lending you money does not give another country the right to run your economy. Sovereignty, law, national interest. So basically, we have to pay interest on our debt when the bond matures or comes to fruition, gets ready to lapse, per se. We got to pay the principal. Often, because we broke and China owns us, allegedly, we don't have the money to pay the principal. So they do what they do, you know, when you tell your mortgage company or your car note or student, you know, forbearance, deferment, they roll over the payment, refinance it. And the process continues because we broke and we keep overspending. And y'all keep letting, how much money are y'all gonna let this man spend? Is everything that he's paying for 1.8 billion? 1.6? Wasn't the ballroom 1.8, 1.6 billion? Y'all don't see this man trying to make y'all broke before he get out the office? But I mean, I don't know how much more we can expect from somebody, you know, from Germany who looks up to Hitler, allegedly. But let's continue. Argue with your mama, not me. Don't get mad at me. Y'all voted him in office. Why this is legal? Tariffs are about trade, not debt. Tariffs are taxed on imported goods. Debt is separate financial relationship. Trade policy and monetary policy are legally distinct. U.S. sovereign right to set trade policy. Under U.S. law, the government has the sovereign right to regulate international trade to protect national interests. Key laws, the Trade Act of 1974, you see the rest of them there. Debt does not limit U.S. policy tools. Owning U.S. debt does not give China control over U.S. laws or trade decision. Not yet. Debt equals investment. Rules allow tariffs under certain conditions, right? As long as the U.S. has a legal basis, tariffs are allowed under international law. I still don't understand how you can put tariffs. I would think, how can I tell you, yeah, I want to buy your stuff, but I'm going to charge you to sell it to me? Girl, yeah, I want that purse, but you got to give me $20 to sell it to me. Them shoes the bomb, but you want to sell me them shoes, baby, you going to have to pay me $50. Pay you $50 to sell you? Yeah, baby. Cause my money is worth it. So because my money is worth it, baby, you got to pay me to use it. That's literally what Trump is saying. Many countries impose tariffs on nations they owe money to or who invest in their debt. Bottom line, the U.S. can owe money to a country and still impose tariffs. It's legal because trade and debt are separate legal and economic matters. The U.S. has a sovereign right to protect its economy and set trade policy. This is a standard practice in global economics. Let's go. So this brings us to the question that I know you've probably been pondering in your head. What happens if the U.S. does not pay? China owns the debt, so China controls the game. This right here is what gives me pause. Because right now I want to know what China's end game is. In all honesty, right now, China holds all the cards. They could say, enough is enough. We sick of this orange motherfucker in this office playing on our top. You know what? Run us that. I need my monions. I need my money and I need it now. What would happen if China called in the debt? The end game of debt and what we ultimately owe. Let's look at it. So, what happens if the U.S. doesn't pay? Number one, they default or delay. The U.S. fails to pay back its debt or interest. Number two, China calls in the debt. As a major creditor, China can demand repayment in full. 3, U.S. losses options. Credit rating collapses. Borrowing costs skyrocket. Markets panic. China exercises leverage. China can demand assets, policy changes, or economic concessions. U.S. loses economic sovereignty. China gains long-term control over critical parts of the U.S. economy and future policy. We become part of China. The chain reaction: market crash, bank fail, hyperinflation, unemployment, civil unrest, loss of global trust, right? A default doesn't just hurt government, it destroys the entire economy. The end game: how China's debt power can be used. Debt leverage becomes political power. China uses U.S. debt as leverage to influence or dictate U.S. policy. So they start changing rules, rights, and bylaws. Constitution, gone. Declaration of Independence, gone. Because we're going to be under China rule. Forced concessions, trade deals, military restraint, tech access, and political decisions favor China. Collateral assets. China could seize or control U.S. assets, infrastructure, ports, land, or companies. Control the dollar system. Crash your market. All y'all running around here talking about, I'm rich, bitch. Yeah. You're poor, whore. Yeah. But we don't see this while we're worrying about a box of crayons. Didn't Michael tell you it don't matter if it's black or white? Yeah, we all should be seeing orange right now. And that orange should really slowly be transitioning to red. Long-term domination. China becomes the world's financial superpower, and the U.S. loses its seat at the table. We drop to the bottom. Started from the bottom, now we here. Back at the bottom. U.S. dollar loses its value. Right now, $1 is worth about 1,500 naira in Africa. Can you imagine that being reversed? Can you imagine? Everything that you consider as worth something worth less. Your bank account with millions in it worth less. And I'm starting to think this is why a lot of people are trying to transition to Bitcoin. Stocks, bonds, putting your money somewhere tangible that you know if the US dollar falls, you do not. That's what we need to start looking into now. Well, how do we protect our money? Because, baby, something wicked this way comes. Warning comes before destruction, and I'm trying to warn y'all that something wicked is headed this way. Headed this way because y'all got a leader in chief who don't give a damn. None. He who controls the debt controls the future. What we owe China and others. 34 plus trillion, China holdings, etc. 800 plus billion in U.S. Treasury security. And still owing interest payments yearly. New borrowing to roll over old debt because we keep doing these elaborate plans, these elaborate budgets, and y'all not stopping to think about, oh, he just said $1.8 billion. Didn't he just tell y'all he couldn't give y'all no money? You can't bail out your own country, but you can bail out others. You couldn't figure out how to get funds to make sure that TSA workers didn't go hungry and homeless, but you could bail out other countries. But you could turn around and create debt for the country so that other countries could bail us out. So basically, right now, it's pimps up, hoes down. Really. China the pimp, we the hoe. Is that really what we saying? This really where we are? And we're going to continue to let this happen over and over and over again. Because we ain't got no money. Hello? We ain't got no money. So 1.8 billion here. 300 million there. 2 billion here. Now you see how they're coming up with it. Hold on. Let me go back. Told you. Yeah, you can invite whoever you want to this chat today, baby. It's hard to argue with facts. You ain't got to like me all day long, baby. That's between you and God. But it's hard to argue with facts and receipts. Please help me understand. You see the big picture? There's definitely a new world order coming. Definitely a new world order. But it's being funded with your money. So while we're depressed, while we're frustrated, we're crying. I told y'all I was on the phone with one of my champagne gang and we were in tears. Literally going over this. Because they playing with our lives like we're expendable. And you are. You are. You should see that now. Because every time you turn around now, there's a new pandemic on the rise. You get a plague. You get a plague. You get a plague. They're playing with your lives so that they can be the ultimate winner sitting at the head. So that they can create a world in their image. But again, I say, what more do you expect from an illegal immigrant from Germany with an affinity for Hitler? You do the math and figure out who I'm talking about, allegedly. Let's go. Chain reaction. You're able to see it here blown up. Taxes. Higher taxes on income, wealth, and businesses. Because this is how we pay it back. So y'all wonder why taxes got to keep going up and up. And why every time you turn around, there's new taxes and more money's coming out. Because we got to pay our debt to China, to daddy. We got to pay our debt to daddy so daddy doesn't take over our country. So why y'all think Agent Orange, all y'all in the red hats running around talking about your commander in chief like he's a king, he's a puppet underneath the thumb of China, Ooh, I know you hate to hear it said, don't you? Y'all gonna be wearing red for another reason in a minute. Inflation, printing more money devalues the dollar and hurts savings. Do you know why? Because you got to have enough gold to cover the dollars that you print. So majority of the money that we have floating around, it's worthless because we're broke and we're in debt to China. Selling assets, selling land, ports, resources, and strategic industries. Oh, let's get into another conversation. How about the conversation that a lot of countries own farmland in the United States? Yeah. So you may be eating fruit grown here, but it's not owned here. Yeah. So the money of that fruit is going to China. Yeah. Windmills, land with windmills, energy on it, right? They can't ship the energy over there, but the money from the energy can get shipped over there. Do you get where I'm going with this? So when it says for sale, selling land, did you not know that there's a lot of countries that own land in the United States? We're not talking about houses. We're talking about land that produces wealth, energy, oil, food. And you can argue with me and say, oh, but compared to how much land we own, it's not that much. But when you compare what they've done with the land, what the land is producing, then you're able to see, hey, maybe we have a dynamic issue here. Because if you own more profitable land and there's more profitable stuff on the land, but all I own is land with houses on it, who comes out the winner in the end? Not you, the people. The government, yeah, because they're getting help with their debt. The person who bought it, because they're getting money. But where do the people of the land stand? You, me. Where we stand? Oh, I know. You can't even afford it. Oh, a little tidbit that I found out too, which was interesting to me today. So I knew just because you own the house doesn't mean that you own the land, right? Let me put another little bug in your ear. Well, let me not put a bug in your ear because we got enough bugs in pandemic. No, I don't want no bugs in y'all. Just hit the bug out your ear. I don't want to put that in there. Let me tell you a little something sweet. Not only do you have to own the land that your house is on, but you also have to own the mineral under the land that your house is on. Those are 3 different deeds. The house deed is one thing. The land deed is another thing. The mineral deed is something totally different. The mineral deed says you can't even drill on your land unless you come see me. Did y'all know that? So if you drilled on your land, let's just say because you wanted to build a swimming pool, it's your land, and you hit oil, if you don't own the mineral under that ground, baby, that oil don't belong to you. Dig that. But other governments can own it. I'm so sick of it. The choice America faces Pay the price now. Live within our means, reduce debt, rebuild industry, protect sovereignty. Or pay the price later. Lose control, lose wealth, lose freedom, lose the future. What China ultimately wants: financial dominance, control the global financial system, de-dollarization, replace the US dollar as the world's reserve currency, strategic control, control trade routes, resources, technology, and military influence, create a new world order, lead a global system with China at the center, a world where economic power decides who rules. When you owe your enemy more than you can repay, you don't have a debt, you have a master. Hence why I say China is daddy, not your beloved Trump. He ain't even got no power as long as he's this much in debt to China. Because all China got to do is pull the plug and it's over. It's done. The U.S. as we know it is done. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to find an exit strategy. I'll go with your mama, not me. Okay? Bottom line, debt is more than money. It is control of your future. If we don't pay, we don't just go bankrupt. We become somebody else's empire. Yes, Zachary, the mineral. The mineral under the ground is a totally different deed. Found that out yesterday. Blew my wig cap back blue. You can't drill on your ground unless you own the mineral underneath. So in case there is mineral, it belongs to you. When was this law on the ballot? Freedom isn't free. It must be protected. That's why we got hashtag protect the bird. I'm going to look, y'all need, I know Progressive have been dropping the champagne shop, the champagne factory in the chat. Please go get your protect the bird gear. Because at this point, forget about the presidency, forget about the White House, forget about the government. At this point, we need to make PETA mad enough where PETA stands up and says the national bird is endangered. We need to protect the bird. So I need y'all to go get y'all protect the bird gear. It is in the Champagne Factory, our store. Also, make sure you get your Meocrats gear because my Meocrats in attendance on today. We have opted out of Democrats and Republicans. We are Meocrats. We refuse to support a party that does not include me. Duh. Let me see. So that was the Great Debt Paradox. Now, for our next show, we're going to get into this. This is a conversation that we've had before, but we're going to deal with it a little more in depth. And the reason why I want to deal with this more in depth is because, and this one right here is going to be for my content creators and for individuals who watch content, right? And I'm going to show you how right now the U.S. and its citizens, or I won't even say the U.S., its citizens, you, me, the ones who are working so hard to come up, succeed, you know, had the American dream that everybody else is coming over here and obtaining. Yeah. Why that just got 100 times harder. Because what I want y'all to know right now is when it comes to social media, the U.S. audience funds the world. The world. Do you know why? Because of the conversion rate. This is why the world wants to bring down the U.S. dollar. Because it's so much stronger than majority of the other currencies in the world. But let me show you something real quick on a social media tip, even YouTube. Lately, I've noticed that there has been a lot of African creators and a lot of creators from other countries, the Philippines and all these places, who are tapping into American content. So much so that they don't even cover their own content, right? But there's a reason behind this. Whenever you tap into the content of a country or an area, you tap into the currency of that market. Because the US dollar is so much higher than everybody else, now you have the world tapping into the US audience or the US market because it gives them direct access to USD. What you don't realize is this is the glitch in the algorithm for everybody else, but it don't work at all for you. Because everybody wants USD. So no matter what market, you as an American citizen, as a content creator, no matter what market you tap into, you'll never see that money, even if the money is greater than yours. You know why? Because your money is already the highest. So for you, $4,000, baby, is just $4,000. For them, $4,000 is rich, a new lifestyle, a new way of life. So we're going to get into it because I really need y'all to understand. And I'm not saying don't support African content creators. But what I'm telling you is some of the ones who are in your own country, Americans will have to work 100 times as hard as content creators from other countries to see the amount of money that they see in conversion rate by just tapping into the US audience and the US market. So not only are you funding the World Bank, your taxpayer dollars, but baby, your views are funding the world content creators. You're making them rich. That's why you're seeing so many foreigners able to travel the world off U.S. audience. Because they're going to get paid in USD. Majority of them, to be considered rich, the only thing that they need is $2,000 to $4,000 USD per month to be considered rich in their country. Meanwhile, what has it done for you lately? Ooh, yeah. Meanwhile, what your dollar doing for you? I don't know. Drop in the comments and let me know what you think. Thank you for joining me for another Champagne Conversation. Thank you for joining me in the Champagne City. Please do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, the notification bell, so you'll be notified when we get into the Champagne City for whichever subject we jump into. I do want to get into this Michael Jackson thing because y'all finna piss me off. Y'all really are. Because I'm going around and I'm watching the world and everybody, Michael Jackson the GOAT, Michael Jackson this. Some of you motherfuckers was the same one that had him up on pedophile charges. Let's not forget about that. Let's not forget. We're going to do a deep dive because now I'm starting to feel like Mike was targeted the minute he started talking about protecting the children. We're going to get into that as well. So please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Also hit the notification bell. Thank you for joining me. Consider supporting the channel. The Cash App is in the description of every video. Please go to the home channel. Check out the other channels in the Champagne City. You can also check out some of the other videos that we have there too. We got so many. And join us next time. Champagne Gang, Fizz Fam, confidants, and visitors. Baby, always remember, if it doesn't cause you to elevate, it's causing you to depreciate. Now raise those glasses, clink, and let's drink till we meet again. Ta-ta.
Friends by the fire, but the room's ice cold. All of us a gift, guess it came pre-sold. Found the lips on the best friend, the ribbons came untied. Unwrap betrayal, under that you tied. Mistletoe hanging, but the vibe ain't sweet. So I'm tangled up where I used to keep my seed. The red I'm seeing ain't from no candy cane. Ain't no ollie, ain't no jolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead. Tree lights flicker, but my mind's on rewind. Every I love you now feels weaponized. Eggnog spike, but it ain't numb in the sting. Her best friend took my crown, now I'm the fool king. Sleigh bells ringing, but they sound like alarms. Frosty outside, inside it's a storm. No chestnuts roasting, just my patience shot. Love ain't a present, it's a house of cards. The red I'm seeing ain't from no candy cane. Ain't no holly, ain't no jolly, just this burning pain. Christmas red is the fire in my head. Yeah, the trust is dead.